The clock is ticking, and Rodrygo's time at Real Madrid may be coming to an end. Amidst the arrival of Xabi Alonso, the signing of Mbappe, and a revolutionary new tactical system, the Brazilian seems more and more out of the club's plans. What seemed unthinkable just a few months ago is now gaining momentum. Rodrygo could be sold in the next transfer window. But why? What has changed? And why could the new coach be the final piece of this story? Stick with me until the end, because what's happening behind the scenes at Real Madrid could completely change the future of the player and the club itself. So, if you love football and are a cool person who wants to help, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It would really help me a lot. Thank you. Xabi Alonso, former Real Madrid player and now a sensation in European football with his work at Bayer Leverkusen, has been chosen as the new coach of Real Madrid, replacing the legendary Carlo Ancelotti. Behind the scenes, the deal is already considered a done deal, and the announcement is expected in the coming weeks. The arrival of Xabi represents much more than just a change of command. It's the beginning of a new era, a new playing style, a new philosophy, and possibly a deep reassessment of the squad, with direct consequences for players like Rodrigo. With Xabi Alonso's arrival, Real Madrid is set to undergo a deep tactical transformation, and the chosen ones are already almost defined. Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe, a duo that on paper is explosive and practically untouchable. In this new scenario, Rodrigo is at serious risk of losing space. He doesn't fit as one of the two reference forwards. And to make matters worse, the midfield is also congested. Xabi Alonso has already made it clear that he sees Arda Güler as a key piece in the creative sector. In other words, even the possibility of Rodrigo playing more withdrawn as a central midfielder is ruled out. The Brazilian might end up being the main casualty of the coach's new philosophy. This potential lack of space is already starting to reflect behind the scenes. Rodrigo has shown clear signs of discomfort with the situation. The feeling of being sidelined is visible, and recent episodes reinforce this. The forward was left out of two important games against Barcelona and Mallorca, with the official excuse being that he had a fever. But what stood out is that, even while sick, he was seen on the bench during the Clásico against Barca. This felt odd even to the fans. The situation became even more delicate, with the confirmation that Rodrigo won't play in the final 2 rounds of La Liga. Coincidence? Hard to believe. Internally, discussions are already underway about the possibility of the player's departure in the upcoming transfer window. A talent who was once considered a crucial part of the project now finds himself unsure about his future at the club. Xabi Alonso is coming to Real Madrid not only as a new coach, but with an ambitious renewal and identity project. Behind the scenes, planning for the next season is already underway, and the targets are clear: an elite centre-back, a creative midfielder, a reliable left-back, and on the right side, a star already secured, Trent Alexander-Arnold. But the reconstruction goes beyond signings. Among the current squad, one player is gaining increasing prominence: Arda Güler. Xabi is completely enamored with the technical talent and tactical intelligence of the young Turk, so much so that he is already thinking of building the team around him. Güler is expected to be the brain of this new version of Real Madrid, which directly influences the space, or lack of it, for other players in the squad. The Brazilian has already made it clear internally that he wants a decision. Will he or will he not be part of Xabi Alonso's plans? He doesn't want to be just a supporting player. He wants to know if he's still an important piece, or if he will just be a secondary option. And if the answer is negative, the message has already been sent. He's ready to seek new horizons. And what does Xabi Alonso have to say about all this? In recent interviews, he was asked about Rodrigo's future, and he responded with a diplomatic but revealing speech. "We are talking to Rodrigo about his role in the squad. I really like him. He's the kind of player every coach would love to have, but the decision about his future is up to him." Xabi's words leave room for interpretation. Yes, he praises the Brazilian, but avoids any guarantees of a starting spot or protagonism. In other words, the door is open, but anyone who wants to come in will have to adapt or find another path. Xabi Alonso's arrival at Real Madrid is not just a coaching change, it's a philosophical shift. The style he developed at Bayer Leverkusen is far from the improvisation and individual brilliance that marked the recent DNA of the Merengue club. Xabi focuses on patient ball possession, high pressing in the opponent's half, and almost suffocating territorial control. His team plays like a single organism, with well-defined roles and gears moving in perfect synchrony. No more relying on a single genius moment. Talent needs to adapt to a system.
So, and when Alonso sits down at his desk at the training ground in Madrid, what are the first few things that he's going to have to think about?
Well, listen, Xabi Alonso, obviously, we're waiting for that appointment to happen at some point. What I have found out is that he has cancelled his vacation now, which means that he's probably going to step up his scouting, which, of course, first and foremost, you've got to bring in 4 to 6 new players. In my personal opinion, that backline needs to be improved. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But the 4 to 6 players, leadership is massively important, defensively solid, making sure that you have new faces to freshen up this group of players who looked extremely tired. Huijsen's been the most recent one who's been linked to come in along that backline. Jonathan Tye saw recently linked.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah, maybe he is, but I think defensively the backline's been a big problem for them. Obviously, Alaba and Rudiger's injury's been a problem. Asensio stepped up. Militao's injury's been a problem. Now, Vinny Jr. replacement, I'm throwing this in there because I honestly think that Vinny Jr.'s time is almost at an end at Real Madrid, which is controversial in itself. He was at one point the leader of this group, in my opinion. At the beginning of the season, I thought it was Vinny Jr., but the leader of this group hasn't turned out to be Vinny Jr. There hasn't been a Kylian Mbappe who's the leader of this group. There hasn't been a Jude Bellingham who's the leader of this group. There's no leader of this group. They're just winging it, hoping they can win games, hoping they can win trophies. That's not the Real Madrid way. They need to do it as a team, and this collectively was a shambles of a season from Real Madrid.
At Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso broke paradigms and caught the attention of all of Europe with bold and efficient ideas. His team was a masterclass in tactical innovation. One of the main differentiators was the use of centre-backs as mobile pieces, moving out to the flanks like fullbacks in the attacking phase, just like Tapsoba did brilliantly. At the same time, defensive midfielders would drop deep to start the build-up, offering fluidity from the back. He also likes hybrid wingers who support both attack and defense and uses asymmetric formations that break patterns and make it harder for opponents to mark. Frequently, his teams play with 2 central forwards or a centre forward surrounded by mobile midfielders, a tactical model that doesn't favour the classic wide winger, like Rodrygo. Rodrigo, who has been a key player in decisive matches, now finds himself at a crossroads. Stay and adapt to a new role in a system that doesn't revolve around him, or seek new horizons where he can be a protagonist again. Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you think Rodrigo should stay and fight for his space with Xabi Alonso, or is it time to move on? Comment below, let's discuss. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video to help us, and activate the notification bell. See you in the next video.